This segment is sponsored by Michigan Auto Law. There's a proposed new distracted driving law in Michigan, a package of bills that have passed the House and Senate and is working its way to Governor Whitmer. So how do the laws differ from what's already on the books? Well, Brandon Hewitt is an attorney with Michigan Auto Law, and he joins us now to break it down for us. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, I'm glad to. Okay, so the bills were introduced in March. They passed through the state legislature in May, now sit with the governor. There's both good and bad news with this, I guess. And let's start with the good part, assuming that the law is ultimately signed by the governor. The good part, tell me about it.
Yeah, so the good part is the major overall objective of these bills is to take the cell phones out of drivers' hands. We see it every day. I don't think there's anybody on the road that doesn't see somebody with a phone in their hand, not looking at the road. These bills take the cell phones out of people's hands, and that is a huge deal for Michigan drivers and keeping us all safe.
All right, but the bad part, there is a challenge or two.
Okay, here's the bad part. It doesn't cover everything, right? So there's a huge loophole in this. It takes the cell phone out of a driver's hands, which is supposed to stop texting, it's supposed to stop talking on the phone with your hand on the phone, social media, video watching, all that kind of stuff. But there's this huge loophole that says that if your cell phone is mounted on your dash or somewhere in your car, or you're using a Bluetooth or hands-free device, you can still do all those things. So wow. It doesn't explicitly prohibit, social media, videos, FaceTime, Zoom, anything like that. I'm sure that wasn't the legislature's intent, but the problem is that as long as you don't have the cell phone in your hand, somebody who is pulled over, accused of being distracted or driving distracted could just point out and say, hey, look, it wasn't in my hand, it was over on the dash, so therefore I'm not in violation of anything.
Yikes. Okay, let's talk about the current law so we can compare. What do the current distracted driving laws call for?
Not much. So they pretty much ban texting and driving, right? And even at that point, the penalties are minimal. So it's a $100 fine. There's no points on your license. There's really no deterrence to the current state of laws in Michigan. Just says you're not supposed to text and drive, and enforcement of that is very difficult. How do you prove that somebody was texting and driving? Maybe they were just looking at their phone, getting a phone call. So just enforcement there is bad. Here, you can't talk on the cell phone, you can't watch a video. Basically, if you're looking at your cell phone in the car, you're going to be in violation of this new law.
Okay, let's dig a little deeper. Let's talk some high points of this new law.
Yeah, so the penalties are increased, right? So for the new law, the penalties do go up. So you're going to have a fine of $100 for the first violation, but there's also the possibility it comes with community service. So 16 hours of community service make you think about that violation a little bit more. And then subsequent violations also increase the penalties. So the penalties can go up to $200, $250 for a second or a violation, 24 hours of community service. If you have 3 violations within a 3-year period, you have to complete a basic driver improvement course. Our big concern though here is that, again, these penalties do not match up with what we see for drunk driving. And what we know years, Catherine, we've been talking about this, distracted driving is just as dangerous as drinking and driving. And really, until we see those penalties start to match what happens with drinking and driving, we're going to keep pushing for, stronger and stronger laws to try to get distracted driving curbed here in Michigan.
So I imagine that's the greatest low point of this package of bills. Is just that. But are there other things to consider?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's pretty much that, right? Is that the loophole that we talked about and the penalties just aren't there yet. So we view this as a good start. This is something, right? So everybody knows when it comes to government and getting laws passed, it's kind of slow steps, baby steps. We're getting there. This is a good first step to help stop distracted driving. This law also expires in 5 years. So there will be another chance for the legislature in 5 years to take another look at this, probably do some studies to see how much it dropped distracted driving crashes. So there'll be some good data that will come from this. And then in 5 years, maybe we'll take another look at it and say, okay, let's modify it and change it a little bit, make it stronger, adapt. But hey, this is a good start. This will make the roads safer. We just like to see a little bit of those loopholes kind of caught up.
All right. More information on our website, 13onyourside.com. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.